Welcome, everyone. We are going to take some breaths because we really do need to come into the room and become centered because Wilhelm has been quite active and you felt so much energy today, probably the last several days, but we will talk about it all today. Big breath, hold it, let your shoulders drop, come into your body. Another breath, a little bit longer. Release it. You're almost there. You're ready to hear them. One more and now relax. And we are ready to begin. And we're so pleased you're here. And we've waited for you your entire lives. Now, we know we've said that every single time we have seen you, but today you will understand it because it's a very special day and the most powerful one that you might ever experience in your life, which is why we had our messenger prepare for you. And we've done so many things because what we wanted you to know is that your gift is before you. The gift is you. The gift is who you were meant to be when you came into this world. And it was calling for you to do that now. And we know it's you. Otherwise, you would not be hearing us. You would not be listening to us. And you felt all the energies moving you to this time and this day. And you think it was all accidental, and it was not. And we've had our messenger prove it to you. And we even had him send out something just earlier today, said that he didn't know what he was doing, but the universe did. And that's what we want all of you to know. And this is why we've done everything. When we first began, when we first convinced our messenger to begin, because what we're saying is that you each take these steps moving to your authentic self, but then you stop a little bit and you get a little afraid and you doubt yourself. And that's what he did. But when we first began, we had to convince him back in 2021 to do live channeling sessions. It was directly tied to this day. And you will wonder, well, how could that have happened? You don't believe in astronomy or astrology or energies or any of that, and so you have trouble navigating your world. But what we did was we gave our messenger a way to do that. And that's why he understood, but it was still so challenging as it is for each of you. Because when you come into physical form, you're meant to do something new. You're meant to do something unique, and it is you. And you're not going to find anyone else who's going to do it. But there are those times where certain individuals, like our messenger, were given something or accepted something that was so grand that they couldn't accept it. But it's the same for you and whatever it is. Now, we're saying this because you're all existing on your planet now during a restructuring, which we have said. So you're each having these difficulties understanding what's going on or accepting yourselves. And that's the goal, is self-acceptance. And you will see there are no accidents. And what we had our messenger do is put together, he didn't understand why he was doing this, but we said, go back and find every message that we've given you on March 29th, go back to 2008, because we wanted you to see the organization of your universe and energies, because you're all that. Now, you will not figure it out in the same way, but we want you to know that you were born with a gift and it's within you and it just had to be developed. Now, the difficulty is you have a consciousness that you have to work with, but you also have a collective consciousness. That collective consciousness has been limited, just like as your individual consciousness has been. But we gave our messenger a new philosophy to help you all live the lives that you were supposed to have and also create the world that you wanted to see. So that it doesn't look anything like it does now. And you will say, well, that couldn't possibly have happened. And now we're going to prove it to you because we got him up this morning and we said we're going to prove it to you even more. So we said, now go back to 2023 and find the major astrological changes that happened in your world and see if we've given you that information. And we love your artificial intelligence, we've also spoken about, because we told our messenger that his role in this lifetime was to bring those things together where you understand your science and your technology and what you are capable of as humans. And that is always in your consciousness, you see. But you've been taught to be insignificant. You've been taught to be less than you could, which is why you're seeing the world that it is in the way that it is right now. Now, when we first did our first session, we gave you something that you will understand today, because it's a direct line to this day and these energetic changes. We know many of you think that it doesn't matter what the planets are doing and all of that, and that's because you haven't met our messenger yet, because he proved you wrong. He knows that all of you have worth and value, and we've given him the blueprint. And that's what we called it yesterday as we kept revealing to him more and more of how organized everything is. And you don't have to have the world that you do now. When we first began, we said you're going to move through another period in your world where you would not understand your money. This is what we said. And now you're looking at it in your world, and it would be based in the United States. Everything is about energy, and you move through changes in your world, planetary changes that have energetic shifts that happen. They affect you all emotionally, spiritually, mentally, however you think of it. But when you come into alignment with the changes that are occurring in your world, then you have this really great life. And then you heal, and then you add to the world, and you cause the world to heal as well, because no one is creating it but you, individually and then collectively. Now, what our messenger took on, which he didn't know, as we've said, we gave him a new philosophy, and it's called your life operating instructions. And the reason that it works is because it connects each of you to who you were meant to be, instead of all the stuff you've been telling yourselves, that you are not enough, that you were wrong, that you're in the wrong race, that you're the wrong gender, that you're the wrong. None of that was wrong. Who you are was who you were meant to be. But what happens over centuries, over eons, we're going to take you back because we took our messenger back, to Egypt, because we want you to understand that you don't think that things are connected, and consciousness is connected. It never goes away. It's all energy, and you each form different parts of it throughout linear time. We don't operate that way. Everything is happening in this moment. That's not a concept that many of you could understand. So we had our messenger create several documents to kind of show you over time how that happened. We even last night we had him put out something about them losing their minds, how visionaries were always thought of, that they were people who were just out of their minds. And we had him put together a list of all those people, and then we had him put his name at the end with us, because that's what we have done. People, everyone didn't understand what Roger was doing. Why are you this way? Why are you doing all of these things and operating in this way? He didn't know either. Even though we tried to show him, we're saying this because we want each of you to understand that you have that gift. You have something within you that you're meant to do, and you're meant to do it now, which is why the energies of your world look the way that they do, why you have felt a little lost, possibly, over these last several years, possibly. But we are saying, no, you are here on this earth at this time to do something wonderful. You just have to move through all your disbelief. And we had to break our messenger through his disbelief, because he couldn't believe that this had occurred, even though we're showing it to him. Now we're going to give you something else, because we got him up the other day and we had him put this up there. We had him find a session that we did in 2023 that was directly connected to today. And we had him just put it up the other day. And if you listen to it, you will see the connection, because we told you all the things that you would be experiencing in your world now. Now, you could not have known that, but once you start to see that, oh, wait a minute, there's an organization. Maybe if I loved myself a little bit more, I would do something great in my life. Maybe if I gave up the judgment that I've had on myself, I would do something more and create the world that we all want to see. Because what we're saying is that it's each of you. No one's creating your world but you. And the discord that you're seeing out in your world is something that's existing within you. And we can say this because it's existed within our messenger, because he was too afraid to tell you who he was. That's all of you. And then you'll see that we've given this over this particular day. We're going to use your linear time, because this is the way you think of things. We think of it this way. You see, everything's happening here. But when you go back and you see the gift that we're going to give you today, and you can't explain how on every March 29th, we gave you something that was relevant to bring you to today. And then we used his artificial intelligence again to show that there was an energetic connection. Now, you will not all, and we've said this many, many times, you will not all study astrology or any of those things because you think they don't mean anything. Our messenger didn't study it either. And this is what we want you to get, because you have capabilities far beyond what you know you can achieve. He never studied astrology, yet he downloaded all this information for 36 years that was astrologically aligned and caused him to heal. And now at 74, everything is gone. And this is what we wanted all of you to have, because then you would have the world you wanted to have. Now, we're just going to leave it there, because what we have done to prove it to you, because we just have to prove things to all of you, because you're going to need, we want you to have more empowerment, more belief, more strength going forth in these next several weeks, because you're going to see more coming up. But what's coming up is an opportunity for you to love yourself, an opportunity for you to become great. All we did was just give you a way to understand it and guidance that you could have. Now, we said we've given it to you, but our messenger hasn't given it to you. And we're saying that because it's the same for all of you. There's something that you're meant to do that you're completing now, and it seems a little confusing, or you're afraid of should you do it. We have all those questions that we know will come up, and that's what we want to get to. Because now, when we start asking your questions, you will see the connectedness of everything and how each of you is here to do something that would make your world so much better if you would stop being afraid of yourselves. That's what we're going to do today. So now we're going to start with your questions.
Okay. So yes, we have a lot of questions that came in, and we are going to start and answer all the questions that came in first. And if we have time, and I think we will then start at answering the questions that come in through the chat. We've got about 20 or so to get to first, so everyone just be patient to let you know what's going on. Okay, here we go. I want to be successful, so why don't I do the things that would make me successful?
Well, first of all, we want you to forgive yourself. This is the thing. We gave you a message. You'll see it in there. Everything is in order. We gave you a message, said, forgive yourself first. Because you're all going to come up with these things that you're going to recognize that you didn't do before, and then you'll start to go into regret. Our messenger has done that so much, so we can tell you, you don't need to do that. And so the reason that you are not doing the things that would take you to where you want to be is because you were taught that you couldn't do it. That's all. You were taught that you weren't the person. And that's a generational belief that many of you have and that you're moving through now. So we don't want you to judge yourself, first of all, and you understand that the reason that you keep resisting that thing is in front of you because it seems too grand for you to achieve. We're saying that to each of you. Now, there's no levels that we can give you about what that might be, but we do know that it is something that is innate, that it's part of you and why you were born, and it's coming about. And you just have to start asking new questions, and it will become apparent to you. And it's the same for all of you at this time. Thank you.
I've discovered that writing helps me heal and manifest. Some call it heart channeling. I want to start offering my writing to others, and I know focused energy would help. If I want to manifest something through speaking or writing with energetic intention, do I need to focus on it every day? Should I write about it daily, or is it better to let it go and trust it'll play out? For example, I want to lose weight. Do I just write it once and release it?
We didn't plant you here, did we? Yes, we did, because it's all organized. And that is the very first message that we gave you in 2008, which you will see on what we're giving you today, because we wanted you to understand it was organized. We said just plant it and let it go. And so there's very different reasons with that. Now, for our messenger, it's for today, because when he had this idea that maybe he was meant to do something, he didn't know what it was going to be. And today he does. So he didn't keep thinking about it because he did all these other things in the meantime to get to here. For you, what is happening is, yes, we want you to forget about it, because what's happening is you have great stories and those stories are enough. And if you start doubting them, you will hold yourself back. You have a great understanding of communication and how things evolve, and that's the story that you're going to write, and it's really connected to you. And so you don't have to think about it every day, because you'll start doubting yourself. That's why we said put it away. Because what many of you do, you say, I'm going to do this thing, and you keep every day, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, but you're telling yourself exactly the opposite. So we would love for you to just keep your writing. You don't have to think about anything else. Just know that we are saying that it's going to do such great things for you and your world, because we know what that information carries. Please honor it and do it. Thank you so much.
Dear Wilhelm, thank you for this opportunity once again. How can I better understand how specific I can be about my desires while still remaining unconditional? I want to understand the allowing process, knowing that things can unfold in many ways. And while I have preferences, I also know that the universe could give me more than I imagine. Does does focusing on specific conditions limit my allowing? Thank you.
None of you are limited, and focusing on certain things will not limit it because the universe is going to guide you where you're meant to be if you let go a little bit more. What we mean by that is that you're each given something to do, and so you're never going to understand it or know what it is because it's always out in front of you, as we've said. But at this time, it's really a bit more because there's so much energy that's happening in your world that you would have a difficult time getting a hold of what that thing is for you. But what we're saying to all of you is that you're at this place where you're going to keep uncovering the next step. It's never going to show up right away, you see, and it's never going to be the same thing. It's going to be something new because that something new is in your field. We can't tell you what that is. We just know that it is expansive, yes, and it is more than you can possibly imagine while you're in physical form because you all have the ability to do such great things. The only thing that holds you back is how much you believe you can do. That's all. And it's just a process that you do each and every day, which is why in our work, and we've seen what our messenger did, he did it every day. And so the thing we want to say this too, because there are many of you who are on this day going into a little bit of judgment as you start discovering yourself a little bit more. And this is why we gave you all of those messages. Please understand you are always in process and you are in process today. And that process is always about becoming your best self, which is becoming more, and that is moving through the limitations. And you set the limitations yourselves. Thank you.
Dear Wilhelm, I've been seeing moving energy or symbols for quite a while now. I'm really curious about decoding these images or messages. They're always changing, always present. I'm not even sure what to call them. Can you help me understand what these messages mean? Thank you for your help and support and blessings.
Oh, thank you, because they mean that you're awakening to the real energy of your world. You see, when you come into physical form, you have these bodies and you're distracted by them, and you don't understand that everything you're doing is energy and you're moving them. And so you have let go of something just recently, as a matter of fact, that your higher self is saying, "Oh, we're going to allow you to see things moving in a completely different way. You won't understand it." But you know that there is energy, you see. You know that there is something that is moving, that is creating everything, and that is all of you. And so we just want you to trust it, and your higher self is going to reveal to you exactly what you're meant to do at the right time. And this is a thing that we want you all to understand. There is timing, which is why we've given you all of these things. And we actually got our messenger up, and we will send it put together more things because we wanted you to see that there's organization in your world and you each have it. So just keep taking the steps, and your higher self is going to lead you to that ultimate place. And we don't know what that's going to be, but it'll be the place where you feel this is me. The only thing we ever wanted for all of you is to own your authentic self because that's where the gold is. You see, that's the gift that we wanted you to access. Thank you.
Hi, I need to know what to do now. Should I get my own place? How will I manage? I just got let go from my job 4 days before I was supposed to be hired full time. I feel devastated, blindsided, betrayed, and lied to. I worked so hard and wanted it so badly. I'm hurt, lost, and alone. What do I do now? Please shine some light. Thank you, and I appreciate you.
What you're going to do now is you're going to be the light, and you're speaking of exactly what we talked about when we first began our sessions, because we said we wanted to help you all move through your fear and doubt, because that's what you're going to experience, because many of you have been holding on to things that did not serve you, and sometimes you get yanked out of them as it feels like you were let go, but that's not what's really happening. Your higher self said there's more for you to do now because the world is changing and there's another aspect, and we know the fear is going to be there. Our messenger has moved through it so many times. He's done it when he just in doing this particular thing, because that fear of am I not going to have enough? And now, see, that's why we began, because we wanted all of you to move through that one. because it's all been about the money. You see, that's why your world is in this state. And so, what you're meant to do is become so empowered that you manifest more abundance, more of what is meant to come to you at this time, because that will shift the balance in your world, which is what we said we have given all of you, was to shift the imbalance that has been existing, and it was in the wealth and income inequality. And so, some of you are going to have these situations come up in your life where you're going to question your worth and your value. And what we wanted you to do is understand that there's no amount of money that could give you any more value than what you were when you were born. But you have to have certain situations that will give you that experience, and you're having it now, and you're going to demonstrate it to so many others what can be manifested when everything is taken away from you, because that's what it feels like for many of you at this time, and many more of you are going to experience that. But that's because you've been focused on everything physical, not you individually, but your world. We wanted you to focus on the human soul more than the physical things. And so when you don't get that place, you'll have to move through these periods possibly of lack and all of that. But again, we've given you all that information, and you will even hear it in the gifts that we're giving you, where we've strung all these messages together. But we want you to understand, do not go into fear. You're being given the opportunity now to rise, to shine to your highest potential, and we're going to keep supporting you. Thank you so much.
Dear Wilhelm, can you explain what a light being is? And can a light being act as a guide during this lifetime? Thank you.
Well, you're all light beings, and so you just forget. That's all. And so, or it may not be the path that you have, but you're and anyone who would be listening to us, you are all light beings, but you may not want to let that shine because your world is kind of not made that okay. Because you're here doing something that's so bizarre, talking to spirits or talking to whatever else that might not be existing in your real world, except you only exist in your consciousness. And so we want more of you to start accepting and honoring those aspects of yourself, which is where you're all moving. So um, we want you to take it a day at a time. If for all of you, just take it a day at a time and understand that all that's happening, every situation, every event is giving you an opportunity to step into a higher state of understanding of yourself. We couldn't have said it any better than that, but that is really what's going on. Thank you.
Hello. As an ascension, as an ascension teacher, can we talk about how we can assist the higher selves and their kids, as I like to call them, and oh, I was inflecting incorrectly. Try this one more time. Hello. As an ascension teacher, can we talk about how we can assist the higher selves and their quote unquote kids, as I like to call them, the people?
You just did it. And we love you so much because you said that in such a cute way that you just kind of took away the acknowledgement that you had of how much you understood. Now, we know that you understood what we just said too, but we want you to just start honoring it a bit more. And because it's not out there where you're doing something, you're doing it right now. And it always seems like it's those higher beings that are only doing it, but it's you. And so you have a greater awareness of this. And so you ask that question, and how can you help? And we want you to just keep becoming more of that because you have great awareness and it's going to keep developing. Thank you so much.
Given what's happening right now, I've been led here again, wanting clarity about something a lot of people are aware of.
Mhm.
I know, I know you know what I mean. It's past time that a certain someone understands she isn't crazy, not one bit. From what starting to understand, you're seen as my spiritual godfather's higher self. So would you agree that she's not crazy at all? Thank
Mhm.
you.
We don't see any of you as being crazy, but you will accept that at times because you're doing something different than the norm, you see? And this is why we put out that message for our messenger, because he couldn't accept that he had done this because no one in history had done anything like this. You have many channelers, many other folks, but no one received the information beforehand, and it's relevant for what's happening in your world now. That's what's going on. So, no. You are opening up to something that is so profound that you didn't understand before. And so you're going to push away from it. You're going to push back from it. But no, none of you are crazy. And those we love using that term because it's so offensive in your society. But that's only because you've made different distinctions about what is normal. And none of you know that. No one could have understood our messenger. He suffered so much of his life because it wasn't normal what he was doing. Even to his family, where they don't understand this. None of you are crazy. You come with something to offer. And even if it's displaying some abhorrent kind of behavior, sometimes it serves a purpose to cause all of humankind to evolve. And that's what you're all doing now. Thank you.
I asked the universe for a new life, and then everything I knew got stripped away, even the parts I knew weren't good for me. But it still hurts and feels so confusing. My whole life flipped in 3 months. Is this all happening for my greater good?
Yes. And why you think you're here? Why do you think we wanted you here? Why do you think we wanted you to understand? You're sitting in front of a person who's gone through all the horrors of your physical life, and he's given you the ways through us that you can change it all. And so we don't want you, any of you, to go into distress. They're energies. Now, we're going to give you other things that you can understand how you use them, is because energies have a quality to them. Lower vibrational energies always are going to cause you to feel bad. Higher vibrations are going to cause you to feel so much better and will facilitate healing, which is what we want for all of you. So we want none of you to judge yourself for where you are now. Just decide that you're going to take the next step and move to the next part of your life. And you will see that we've even given you over the years messages on that tomorrow. We love saying that because it's hard for you to understand how we could have given our messenger information in this way, but we want to break your disbelief about what you can achieve. And that's all of you. Thank you.
Is grace all I need now? I feel fulfilled, but I know from experience that that feeling fades fast. How do I stay on the edge of creation and remain relevant to what humankind needs right now? Time is mine if I mind my business. I've just never been a business entity until now.
You're being moved into another aspect of yourself, and we don't want you to judge these because it's change for you. And so we don't want you to judge the process. That's all. You're just moving into other aspects and acceptance as you all are. And there's something this we're kind of if we can get a follow up to this, it would be great because there's something that you've been withholding. There's something that is right there ready to move. And and we would love to have a follow up if we could get that to what that is because we can feel it. And we just want to know what it is, but we'll take the next question. Maybe we'll come back to that because that would be really fascinating. Thank you.
Dear Wilhelm, I live in Europe, but all the courses and inspiring people I follow, like Roger, are in America. Does this mean I'm more connected to the energy that's happening in the US right now? And do you have any suggestions for what I should do next? Thanks to Roger for all of his amazing work.
You're so tapped in. We're so pleased and happy that you're here. And the reason that we have kept saying using the United States, it's the focal point of this particular transition in your world. Now, again, we can explain all of that, which we did. If you go back and listen to the session we did 2 years ago where we explained it, and that's the one we just had our messenger put up a couple of days ago because he doesn't remember what we give him always. So it'll be good for all of you. But there are energetic changes that are happening in the United States when Pluto changed. It was a time where they had to start looking at everything that wasn't working. Now, we're saying this, we're talking about working for all of humankind. It wasn't just that country, it permeated the entire globe. And for those 248 years the United States has been around, they were the leaders. And now you're looking at them and you're saying, what has happened? Where they're going? That's because they're waiting for you to awaken, and it doesn't matter where you are, and you're in Europe, and so that means your energy of loving yourself and doing what you came to do is going to help those in the United States, so you'll be adding extra energy there. We know that doesn't make sense to a lot of you, even though we keep saying that if more of you would get together collectively and add your energy to a much higher source, you would change everything. But because you were awakened to that particular idea, it means that you're just connected to this awakening general on your planet. This is what we've called a spiritual revolution. It's happening. And so you're just awakening to it. And we're so glad to have your input and your energy. And you don't have to be in the United States. Thank you so much.
How can I keep my peace and stay calm and positive during life's hardest moments?
By understanding that's the most important thing that you can do. And then you'll go to it. And we're so glad that you asked that question. Our messenger would go through some of the most horrific times in his life. And then when he would get up in the morning, and this is why we made it a practice for him, that he would sit down and meditate and get our information, and then he would all of a sudden become better. We want you to understand that you will each move through times of challenges. We've given you that too, and you'll have so much of that even in the little gift that we're giving you, because you'll see that we've given you that information. We wanted you to understand it's a progression. And then the message that we gave you last year also said that it's a planetary ascension, meaning that you're dealing with the energies of everyone around you and in your world. So we just want you to understand that you will keep your calm and peace when you stop telling yourself you can't. That's all. We just want you to form a place of relaxation and acceptance of yourself. And if you could do it daily and make it at the same time, that would be the best. Because all we want you to do is just love yourself and stop telling yourself that you can't remain peaceful, because you can. You can develop the ability to see all the kinds of chaos that might be happening in your life or even in the world and still raise your essence to a much higher state of peace and calm. It just takes practice. That's all. Thank you.
I moved from California to the Big Island 3 years ago. My husband and I are happy here, but my work got put on hold. Now I'm ready to reinvent myself so I can keep healing, elevating, and inspiring. I'm most comfortable working one-on-one and in person, even though everything's virtual now. Do you see me finding a way to introduce myself to a community I'm still kind of new to? Any advice?
You're just going to take the next step, whatever that is. Now, um, we want to go back to something you said in the beginning, which is says you and you're happy. Please appreciate that. You're not, because we feel that you're feeling like you haven't done enough yet because you haven't changed enough. But being happy, that's the first thing we wanted all of you to get to. And so we want you to appreciate that first. And now, because the work was taken away, it means that there's other work that's showing up. That's what you each are moving into now. And sometimes it may be a different career, vocation, or even direction, or where you thought you were going. And that is what is occurring now. So we want you to find that next place, because if your work was taken away, that means that there's greater work that's coming into play now for you to accept. And it's something that is connected to you that gave you that sense of happiness and joy when you were probably much, much younger that you chose to forget. And so we want you to kind of bring that back, and that's going to be your new work because you're moving into this new life. That is why you're here. And that is the gift that we want you to accept for all of you, because it's always something that's within you that you haven't fully acknowledged. That is the process of your life. But you're at a great place now where the energies of this world will allow more of you to take those steps and ownership and create new businesses for yourself. And that is what you will do. Thank you so much.
I've started writing more and feel called to launch my Stories for Change platform to inspire and heal through storytelling.
Mm,
Is this the right path for me? Am I meant to share these stories?
yes. And we love that. And we thank you so much for that question, because that is the one that you all have. Should I? And we've given you a message on that. This is just going to be so perfect for all of you. And you're going to wonder how we planned it. Because again, we want you to know that everything is organized when you start to accept yourself more. And so your stories are going to be so brilliant. And we want you to own them and to tell them that is why you're here. That was your gift, and that's what you just kind of doubted it, and you're wondering who's going to understand it. And if you come from your heart, which is what we want all of you to do at this time, there's no more energy that is more powerful than your heart and the love that you feel for yourself. And that's what will resonate for others. And that is your mission on this earth, and you accepted it. You've just been a little afraid of it, but now we're glad that you asked the question because now you'll do it. Thank you.
What are my true soul gifts, and how can I express them in a way that feels aligned, fulfilling, and in service to others?
They are within you, and they will always feel that way when you feel good. Now, let's talk about that. You all have soul gifts that you have, but sometimes you put them away because of you were taught that you shouldn't do them or they're not right or whatever it might be. But they're always there. And so the way that you know if you're moving in the direction of your higher self, your authenticity or whatever that is by how you feel. We're saying that because you will think that you're getting away with something at times, doing something, being this imposter, as many of you call it, but that never feels right. And then you come to your authentic self and it feels great. That's where you're moving to now, and we just want you, each of you to start to accept that. So it's but understand it's a process, because what will happen for all of you is that you start to judge yourself. Now you're standing at a place in your world where it seems like everything's going to fall apart, and we're saying no, that doesn't have to happen if more of you come together. Because see, all this entire period is about you moving over your fear, each of you individually and then also collectively, because that's the only thing that's going on is all the fear. And because fear will keep you controlled. Now, what is going on in your world right now is that there are many others who understand this on a greater level and have kept many of you in fear. And a lot of it has been about the money, which is why we started all of this. We wanted you to understand, and we've given you so many great messages, and we tied it back to today so that you would start owning yourself and be giving yourself more abundance in ownership of yourselves. That's all. And that is the gift that each of you has. And so we're so grateful that it's all coming out now, and there'll be more of it. Thank you.
I really struggle to clear my mind and meditate. I know this is key to connecting with my higher self. Do you have a lesson or a cheat code that can help? Love and light.
Well, you're already connected. So thank you for that. That's so wonderful. And so many of you go through this because you think that you can't meditate. Our messenger did that as well. He did that in the beginning. He said, I can't do this. And so we said, oh, that's because you're trying to be someone else instead of being yourself, which is the point of meditation. We hope you heard that. You see, because the only thing that you're meant to do is take this time to calm down and be with yourself. So when you think that you have to try to do it, you're fighting against yourself. Or when you tell yourself that you can't, you're doing the same thing. So what we did with our messenger, we said, we have to change this belief in your head that you think you can't do this, because he was thinking he had to sit down and follow some old ancient way of doing it or sit a particular way, and it never felt right for him, so he thought he couldn't do it. So we said, well, why don't you find something that feels right for you? Why don't you find something that feels comfortable? And so then he did. And then he had to distract himself because, see, that monkey mind that you all have, it was telling him he can't do this. And so we said, okay, when you sit down to meditate, why don't you try doing this? Focus on this beautiful stream that's just going. You can hear it in your head, and it's just and every time you focus on it, you're becoming much more calm and you're much more relaxed. And then you just keep doing it. And all of a sudden, the rest of the room is just disappearing. And now you're just hearing one voice, and that's that small voice, that still small voice that exists within you. And now you're getting information, and then it starts to grow. And all of a sudden, you're meditating it, and you've convinced yourself of something new, and that is, I can meditate. Thank you.
Is everything ready for me to move back to Norway?
If you feel that it is, because we're feeling that you have a soul calling that says you need to be there. And if that's what you're feeling, then what is it? What would you do? What would be the difference in what you would do there or wherever else you are at this current time? But what we feel is that there's something else calling you to accept yourself, and you just think that maybe you have to go there to do it. We're not sure, but it's not, there's a calling. You think you may be connected to a specific place, but there is a calling that's coming up and you're questioning it. Where should I go and where should I do this? Well, where we want you to begin with is go inside, go into your heart and ask yourself, what do I want to do? What's going to give me the most fulfillment for this next portion of my life? Because I know I'm moving into a new portion now. And so when you answer that question first, and you have to take away all the other stuff, you see, because we don't want you to think about what obligations or anything else. We just want you to think about you. What is going to give you the greatest joy and fulfillment in this next portion of your life? And this is actually what we're having all of you come up with today. Thank you so much.
If back in 1993, I was told to remain and assist during this time of transition, how do I do that now when my
Mm,
health is in decline?
mm,
I'm willing, but I feel stagnant and isolated because of physical challenges. Am I
mm.
holding on to old energy that's limiting me, or is it something else that I'm not seeing?
Well, it could be all of those things, first of all. And so you're all holding on to old energy. So just accept that. You all are doing it. Otherwise, there would be nothing for you to do next. You wouldn't have anything to do tomorrow. But we also want you to take away the judgment that you've had on yourself about having all the physical ailments. Because, see, our messengers had so many of them as well. But you accepted that for a reason. So, but it's hard to heal them when you're holding the judgment or the feeling that somehow you were being punished. You were not. And so you knew about this before. You've just been resisting in a different way. And it's because in 1993, when you knew that you had to stay here, yes, that was a directed from your higher self saying that there would be an important time that the work of who you are would be needed in your world. And that time is now. So that's why you're feeling it. So the way you're going to move through it, and we've given you a message on that, and we gave it to you in 2012, where we said that you will go through these physical maladies as they're called, and so sometimes they will heal in the physical realm if you do the things that are you're meant to do, accepting yourself, letting go of judgment, whatever it might be. They could heal, but some of you have accepted life paths where they won't heal in the physical world, but that does not mean that they're not healing in the spiritual world where it most matters. And that is what you're doing. Your higher self accepted a role where you would go move through these physical things and somehow you would heal some aspect of your soul's journey and you would be a demonstration for so many others in that way. And we always like to reframe things like that because many of you think that the things that you're moving through are some sort of punishment, and they never are. They're things that you each accepted that if you were to move through them, you would evolve on your individual path, your evolutionary path, and then you put that into the collective. So, but we just want you to love yourself a lot more and to give up just stop judging yourself about what has gone on and you're in the right place. And from this moment on, you're going to take steps each day into just accepting and loving and letting go of the judgment. Thank you.
Dear Wilhelm, I've always been energetically sensitive, and I've experienced many NDEs. My question is, how can I help send more love into the world? It feels like so many people are missing it today. How can I be an anchor for that much needed love vibration? Thank you.
Well, you just did it just by saying all of that, you see. And so some of you think that you have to go out and do something huge to make that difference. No, you don't. You just have to acknowledge it within yourself. The one thing that we wanted you to understand is that the energy of your life is within you. You see? And so that is where you start from. That's your base. And so whatever you decide to do out in the world is going to produce an effect as well. So you're feeling that there's something that you're meant to do that's so beyond what you have, maybe even the capability, but we want you to understand that it is what you want to do. When you start doing what you want to do, things are going to start to come into play in a miraculous way, especially after today. If you give yourself permission to see that thing that you really wanted to do in this life and give yourself permission to keep going after it each day, you're going to see miraculous changes within the next week if you just start doing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your service to humanity. Can you explain the difference between star seeds and light beings and how someone can tell which one they are? Also, there are many references to the 144,000 chosen ones. What does that really mean? Are they chosen to hold the space for what this new age is birthing?
Okay, this is a good one. We feel that you're all are chosen. So we this is the challenging part. We see you all as chosen. And this is why our messenger would say to you he can't see anything wrong with you because we know that whatever you're moving through is really valuable, but it is you who must accept the fact that you were chosen. Our messenger would never use that term. We even had him write an article about it, and it's on his website, and you can see it there. But he would never say that he was chosen. And we kept telling him, no, yes, you are. Look at this. And he kept running from it. And so you are all chosen. But we want you to take away the distinctions that you've made about that. You think it's some higher state of being or some higher consciousness can only be the chosen one. You are all chosen. We want you to understand that because it's that essence that was within you. But what has happened over generations, over eons, is that you've made separation much greater and you've made yourselves much less. And so you can't accept the fact that you were as chosen as any other person. When we gave you this work, it was to cause more balance in your world because we said that the things that you were missing was understanding that every soul was born with worth and purpose. And it didn't matter what race you were, it didn't matter what gender you decided to become or the one that you were born. Doesn't none of that matter. It's your soul. And so that's what many of you are coming to now, but you have to move through all the old stuff, which is why we've given you all of this to show you that your world is moving through a transition, which is about letting go of what was old and accepting what was new. And the new that we wanted you to accept is the importance and equality and essence of each single person. That's what we've given you. And that's what's going to not only heal your life when you accept that. We're talking about a consciousness now. It's not about anything else. It's about a consciousness. And you can't operate in your world with a consciousness that tells you collectively that certain people are worse or bad or wrong. That just doesn't work. So we gave you something else, and it comes through each of you deciding that you are worth and value, and just moving through this journey right now. And you decided to be on the earth at the most needed time. We've said that many times as well. You were needed, each of you, to own and honor who you are and to love yourself. Thank you.
Just want to share that we are at maximum capacity for questions, and we will get to all questions that were asked in the chat. And we've got one more question here that was pre-submitted. I want to focus on what I'm creating, but there's so much evil in the world right now. Should I be part of the fight or to resist it, or stay, or just stay in my own energy?
That's the best question ever. See, um, the fight is the problem that you all have, and you're going to see more of it going on in your world. So we gave you something else. We said, oh no, don't stay in the fight. Just understand what the fight is. The fight is keeping you down, keeping you in fear, keeping you feeling bad about yourself. That's the fight. And so the fight is you deciding, oh, wait a minute, I'm really worthy. I really have something to offer the world, and that's why I'm here now. And so all those evil people that I thought were evil, they helped me because now they're making me come alive. And now I can say, oh, wait a minute, that's not a behavior that I wanted. Everything that's going on, you have duality in your world, and that's what you all wanted to experience. Because when you experience it, then you have a choice. We told you you would choose between love or fear, and that's where you are. You choose love when you choose yourself. You choose fear when you continue to allow others to control you and control your consciousness, and that is what has gone on. It wasn't accidental that we began in the United States, and you're not accidental that you're seeing all the events going on in your world. And we even gave you something several years ago where we told you that we had our messenger, we had Donald Trump on his computer for a month. And people said, why did that happen? Because we wanted him to get over his hatred, because that's not going to help him. You see, that's not going to cause healing. He's got to be above it. We gave him a message where you can rise higher in consciousness above anything. And so you don't see evil anymore. You just see people who are trying to put you down, who just don't understand certain things. That's all that goes on. There are people who haven't, we call it systemic ignorance. about the importance of all people. You see, what we have given you is from the beginning. We said all souls came into the world with worth and value. This is why we went back to the Hermetic principles when you didn't see all these differences and separations, because that's what's been permeating your consciousness for eons. And we gave you something new, and then we wanted you to see how it worked, because then you come out joyful. Then you come out happy, and you don't see any more evil. There is no, what we wanted you to understand. The only thing that happens is that somewhere along the line in your evolutionary journey, whoever that might have been who's doing the evil, they just got off track. But them getting off track and not knowing how to operate in as a human gave you the ability now to shine. And that's what you're all going to do. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And now moving on to all the questions that were asked in the chat. Years ago, early one morning, I was on the edge of sleep. I had an experience where the room lit up and I heard singing, like angels were singing. I was
Mm.
lying on my stomach and too afraid to turn around, so I never saw the source of light. Can you help me understand what that was? Lately, I've been feeling called to communicate with angels. Do you have any
Mm.
guidance?
Just do it. Yeah, let's just do it. And it was so perfect, you see, because it was just you. It was comfortable. Because their energies, we want you to understand. Many of you don't get that, and we would never expect any of you to do what our messenger is doing because he fought it forever. He wasn't going to do this. This seems so ridiculous to begin. And now we've seen that there's all this connection that he's finding. And so what you are having, your higher self, just opened you up to a greater understanding of how things operate in this universe. So just keep going with it. Just keep accepting it because you're opening up to something that you just didn't trust before, but it's real. You're doubting it, but it's real. And we just want you to keep developing it. That's all, and just do it a step at a time. We want to explain this to all of you because as you move into new dimensions of yourselves, it's going to seem uncomfortable. And we've given you that self discovery can be kind of even shocking at times. And so we had to even. What we've been doing, we want you to understand this integration process as you move through your consciousness to a higher state, which is what we had to do with our messenger because it was shocking to him to go back and see that we had given him all this information in an order and created a philosophy that had never existed before. That's acceptance of that is really challenging. And so you're all doing something of that nature. And that's why this has been a challenging period. But we're saying that when you start doing it and loving yourself and moving forward, you're going to have the life you're supposed to have, and you all create the world that you want to see. Thank you.
There's a service called Focus Life Force Energy that places a high vibrational life force on your home or another object, and it's supposed to support wellness and growth. I've been using it. Can you tell me if this energy field is actually working, or does it really does it really help with the healing and evolving?
If you believe it does, then it does. None of you, okay, we're going to give you all of this because we want you to get it because you're going to move through more of this in this period as well. Everything physical is physical. That's all that it is. And so you use your consciousness to learn how to manipulate things in the physical plane. And so if you are using something that is giving you the feeling of a greater connection, then it is working for you. It may not work for anyone else, but if that is your higher self is telling you this is what it's going to do, then it will do that because the belief is the most important thing. All of you could accomplish such great things in your life if you could believe beyond the mundane, meaning beyond the things that have happened already that you've already seen. And this is what you're doing. So it seems very out of the box for you or straight, but we want you to keep developing because you're accessing something that is really wonderful. The thing that happens is and we've given you these messages. When you come into physical form, none of you are supposed to be the same, and you're not supposed to keep your world the same. And that can only change when you become willing to change and accepting something new. And sometimes it's going to be outside of the box of what you ever thought was possible. But we just want you to start accepting more. You're on your way. Thank you.
I'm launching a kids channel that empowers the diaspora with songs and visual images celebrating melanated children of Africa and
Mhm.
beyond.
Mm.
Can you share suggestions on how to support young people during these seismic changes?
You just did it by shining that spotlight. Because what happens is, you come into the world in your existing society, and there are certain people in certain parts of your world, particular countries, and that who have not been given the opportunity to see of their equalness to everything else. Possibly because of isolation or where they might be, but more, it's about the society that you have built, the civilizations that you have built, where you kept telling people that they weren't worth enough, you see? And so now you have a correction to do, which is what this entire period is about, which is why we've called it a restructuring, where you start to restructure your consciousness into understanding the importance of all people and where you can become more productive. And so you are doing something so wonderful by shining a light on them. And you're going to be given more ways of doing that so that you can shine equality to everyone because it's all humans. That's who you are. It just takes you eons to come to that recognition. That's all. Thank you.
Are all the physical climate shifts a response to the energy emerging and the shift from 3D to 5D? We've seen earthquakes in Asia, flooding in Africa. Should we expect more?
If you, yes, there will be more. There's always going to be more. But the thing that is so challenging is that you have not understood how you're all causing that to happen, which is what the information we have given our messenger. The planets are going to continue to change. And and the thing that the studies that many of you have not done, there have been many studies done, but we just had our messenger see some because we're going to have him do more, is that you are affected emotionally, mentally, spiritual by certain particular aspects of the planets. And that is a combination that many of you have not understood, but you're moving through that now. And so you're experiencing new things in your life and in your world, things that you've never seen before because they've never happened, which is why we came through in the way that we did. No one could have known that our messenger was having all of this work to bring to the world now. And none of you know that. You can't know what even tomorrow's going to bring. But we're saying that you are here awakening to something within you that's really wonderful. So thank you for that question. It's going to give so many other people the ability to accept themselves and their journey, and that's what we want. Thank you.
Hi, Wilhelm. After our discussion at the beginning of the year, when you asked me what the connection between love and art was for me, I did what all humans do. I thought about it a lot and ended up going in circles. But when I stopped thinking and took action, creating 16 paintings for 16 people, I discovered the connection. The abstract art I create reflects back to each person how they feel about themselves, which helps raise their awareness and shows them that they need to accept, love, and love who they are. It was a powerful and surprising lesson. Thank you for asking me that question.
Thank you for the confirmation and thank you for bringing it up. And that's all we want for any of you because you doubt these gifts that you have and the things that are coming about. And that's only because of the consciousness that you've accepted. And you're here now to raise the consciousness, not just for yourself, but for your entire planet. Now, we know that sounds like a big role, but that's the one you took on. And we know that it is you, but you just haven't made yourselves important enough to accept that. And this is why we've given you everything. That is just so wonderful. And anything that any of you can do that can give another a sense of their importance in this world is the most noble and thing that you could possibly attribute to your life. So thank you so much.
And now we are at our final question, and here it is. I know what I want. It's lined up. I feel like there's a block and it's only me. What more can I do?
Thank you so much. And you're making our messenger cry because he's so surprised because we laid all of this out and it's the very last question that we put in the message that we're giving you today. And it says, how can I raise my consciousness? That's the question you're going to ask yourself. How can I raise my consciousness? And that's for each of you. Because the more of you who do that, then you see something different in your life and you see something different in your world. Now, as we said, it's all connected. And the thing that we wanted all of you to understand, that's why we worked our messenger so hard to get more of you here, is to understand this is the most important time of your life and the most important time in your world. And this is why we have done everything. And it's been so organized to even to bring it about on this day We want you to understand there's an energetic connection in right now that is just so powerful that you all can start to live this life and create something different. We know what you're going to witness and what you're going to see, but you have the ability to transcend it all, and this is what we've given you. And we just had to have our messenger spend his entire life basically doing this because he's 74 now and he's going in the other direction. And that's what we want for all of you. And that's what we wanted for your world. We're going to say this and we want you to go out there because we told him the other day that we want the title of this um, replay to be, Do We Have Your Attention? See, because we've said all of this, we've given it all to you, but now you'll be able to absorb it, and now you'll take the action, which one of you just mentioned, and that is the most important thing, is to take the action. And but the funny thing is, that action and the most powerful action you can take is to decide to love and become your authentic self. And it is a journey, but fortunately, we've given you a pathway. And that is what we wanted to say. And that is the end of our session because we wanted to reiterate what we've said to you all before. We have given you everything that you need to live this really wonderful, magnificent life. And the more of you who do that, you'll have this really great world. And we have given it to you. And now you will have the proof of that so that maybe your belief in yourself will become much stronger. And that is all we ever wanted. And we love you so much. Thank you.